Hello, everyone. My guest today is Byron White. He's one of the original content marketing revolutionaries and founder of WriterAccess. He started several other businesses, including Freelance Access, LifeTips, ideaLaunch, and more. Byron is the chair and founder of Content Marketing Conference, an event featuring 65 speakers and 20 keynotes in 2018. He has authored 4 books on content marketing topics, is a popular speaker at dozens of conferences, and hosts a webinar and podcast series. Byron, are you ready to take us to the top?
Well, bring it on. Nice to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. So I want to figure out what to dial in here on the show because you do so many things. WriterAccess, is that a SaaS platform, pure play software?
It is, yes.
Okay. And did that come before the conference and before the speaking and the podcast, or was it later?
It came before the conference, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So let's focus on that then. Tell us what WriterAccess does and what's the revenue model? How do you make money?
Sure. WriterAccess is a marketplace that connects 25,000 customers with 15,000 freelance writers, editors, content strategists, and all kinds of interesting people in the content marketing industry.
What was the marketplace numbers there? 25,000 customers and what on the other side?
25,000 customers and 15,000 freelancers.
50 or 15?
15000. So a lot of talent, a lot of customers, and our software and our platform makes it easy for our customers to find freelancers, place orders, and manage the workflow inside of our platforms with some really cool tools.
And do you view this more as a marketplace revenue model? It's a percentage of spend that kind of goes through the platform, or it's more a flat fee SaaS model?
For the first 5 or 6 years of our 8 years of operations, we were a pure marketplace transactional business. In the last year, we made a pivot over to SaaS, where we're now charging a fee to use our technology and access various levels of talent in our pool.
Byron, that's a big change.
It's a big deal.
Why'd you do it?
Well, I think that the millions of dollars that we put into our software had to find a way to generate some revenue at some point. We were very careful with how we did that and wanted to make sure we had a really good value proposition and we're worth $39 a month or as much as $350 a month to use our platform, access our talent, and create a unique brand position that very simply had something that the other brands and marketplaces out there did not have. So we feel we've achieved that goal. We made the pivot, and it has gone crazy well, like insanely well. Like we're probably
quantify that for me.
Well, we're bringing in more customers on a daily, weekly basis than we were when we were an open source free platform, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. Mm-hmm. So,
well, just to be clear, an open source free platform can't bring on any customers. So, of course, now.
Good point.
Do you mean, though, you're now today in a week bringing on more paid customers than you added in terms of just new free users in the past?
Well, the free users, I agree with that, your statement that you don't call them customers until they pay. But imagine this, when we were open and free for anybody to try, we could bring in freelancers that wanted to try to see what the platform was all about. Or we could bring in people that were kicking our tires and taking a look at our model but not spending any money. Those customers, and those are really prospect customers, those prospects cost us money because we have to deal with them and call them or email them or market to them and figure out what they want. So by gating our model to say, if you're serious about content, we would like you to prepay a $39 fully refundable prepayment. So pull out your card if you really are interested in experiencing the quality of our platform and our service. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean. And so when you look at the numbers of all of those free people who actually bought a blog post for $17.50, we're bringing in more people now that are paying $39 or more just for membership than we were for the 1 out of 10 people that finally bought something for $17.
I see. Now you said you go between $39 and something like $300 or $400 per month. Give me an average just to avoid going down every cohort. What's the average customer pay per month?
About $100.
Oh, about $100. Okay, good. And then let's put this on a timeline. When did you launch the platform, the marketplace platform, the whole thing?
8 years ago, 2010.
2010. And then just recently, 2017 is when you turn on the SaaS revenue.
Correct. At the very end of 2017, we turned that on.
Okay.
And by the way, we're pleased to announce that we made the Inc. 5000 list for the 5th year in a row.
Oh, that's great. That's really, really great. I will dive more into that in a second. Tell me first though, what have you scaled to in terms of total customers using you?
Well, like I said, the 25,000 customers, we're up to about 26,000 customers now have made a deposit on WriterAccess.
Sorry. I just meant, sorry. The show usually focuses on SaaS revenue. I always forget to qualify that. I mean, just on your SaaS product. Yeah.
A lot.
Okay. I mean, are we talking like hundreds or thousands?
Oh, well more than thousands.
Okay. So between 1,000 and 10,000 is fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So, I mean, look, at minimum 1,000 at $100 pop. So it's already generating $100,000 per month in MRR. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't go that far. We have, if you look at churn rates and if you look at sorting out the lifetime value of customers, I wouldn't say that that's a fair number.
Okay. Neither of those things tie back though to current MRR. They might be future indicators of growth, but taking 1,000 customers times $100 ARPU would give us 100,000 in MRR. Which of those two numbers are wrong, the customer or the average ARPU?
The average monthly recurring revenue is not 1,000. We don't have 1,000 people at this moment in history paying average $99.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and
you
one interesting point on that as well. Only 30 days ago did we launch the $349 program, so you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, I understand, by the way, that you're just launched this. By the way, there's a lot of people, this model of moving from a marketplace to a marketplace plus SaaS is very in right now. A lot of people are trying it. And so I try and dive into these stories, understanding that the SaaS revenue is typically fairly early. So, I mean, do you know off the top of your head, is it 100 or 150 or 400 that are on just the pure play SaaS side?
I love your tenacity with numbers. Thank you for that. But I'm really not prepared to disclose how many people are paying on a monthly recurring basis. I think our stats and our story is more interesting with regards to how we made the transition and what value proposition we're offering customers. Fair enough?
Sure, I appreciate that. But we've also done about 3,000 of these interviews, and I know what my audience wants to hear, and it's metrics, not pie in the sky kind of philosophy. So share you already shared stuff on Inc. So why don't you just share what you already shared with Inc. What's revenue and what did you share?
We generated $7.2 million in 2017. And we did not disclose to Inc. what percentage of that was SaaS versus marketplace revenue.
Okay, great. So all in, now does that include the conference business or just everything through WriterAccess?
That actually does include the conference business. Yes.
Sorry, does?
That does include the conference business.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so you mentioned, I think you said the software came after the conference. What made you want to jump into creating a marketplace? Why not just double down on the conference?
The conference came after the software business. Other way around, by the way, the conference came after the SaaS business.
Let me flip my question then. Conferences are very hard to scale. Most people lose money their first year of the conference. Why go into something that you know is going to be a loss leader for at least a year?
So it's our 4th year of the conference. Actually, it'll be our 5th year this year. We absolutely knew that the conference would be a money loser going into the play, but we felt it was very important to us to establish our leadership position in the marketplace and to meet face-to-face with customers and prospect customers and to really do our job to help educate the masses on content marketing, which is really what we've tried to do for 4 years.
Mm-hmm. And break down the nerves that first year. You're looking at ticket sales a month before go live day and you're like, oh my gosh, we're like 50% full. And then hopefully you get a big spurt right 2 weeks before. Walk me through what's going through your head.
Well, I can give you some numbers on that if you want.
Yeah, I'd love them.
We did about 150 people the first year, 300 the second year. Let me think about this for a second. We did 150 the first year, about 280 the second year, almost 400 third year, and 600 the fourth year. 600 the fourth year. And so we think that's pretty good growth. And the show this year was just jaw-dropping.
This was the 4th year?
This was the 4th year, yes, in May of 2018.
And have you structured it, altered pricing, dealt with the meal negotiations with the conference? And have you gotten it to the point where it's cash flow positive now, or is it break even?
Okay.
That's the laugh of someone that's still losing money on it, which is okay.
Fair enough.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm just curious, how you're thinking about it.
Sure. So The first 2 years we ran the conference, we hired a company called Rising Media that did a fabulous job of running the conference.
Yep.
They are a professional conference management company. And their goals and objectives are to make money as soon as possible. And what that meant from our perspective was, philosophically, this was not ever intended to be a money maker for WriterAccess. It was meant to be its own standalone brand content marketing conference that was founded by me, the chair of the conference.
Mm-hmm.
So we had philosophical differences with Rising Media on expenditure. Should we film every session? Should we have black curtains behind the stage? I mean, these became very frustrating conversations for both sides of the table, and I completely respect their side of the table, which is wanting the conference to be profitable. So after 2 years, we decided to sever ties with them. Again, nothing but positive things to say about them.
Sure.
And move the conference to Boston, where we could lose money at a much faster pace and have a much better show.
Yeah.
So we took it to the next level big time. We moved it to the Western waterfront. We paid speakers what we felt we should be doing from the get-go. We went from, 4 non-paying keynotes to last year we had 20 keynotes. 20. Tell me a show that has 20 keynote speakers. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
10 during the regular conference, and then we hosted a content marketing keynote, comedy marketing keynote series, which was fascinating to see what the response to that would be. And
which was what? Well, how was the response?
Absolutely overwhelmingly positive. This marketplace, as it turns out, is starving for comedy. Mm-hmm. Like at a proportion that I did not even understand when I came up with the idea to experiment with comedy marketing, which I believe is a new frontier we're all going to have a lot of fun with.
Mm-hmm. So this makes a lot of sense. You're still losing money on it, but you can afford to lose money on it because you can underwrite it with other lines of revenue. So WriterAccess is obviously another line of revenue. Is there any other revenue streams I'm missing from your overall business?
Not really. I mean, we have our highest tier at WriterAccess is what we call managed service. So we layer services into the SaaS model, but it is recurring revenue from a SaaS perspective. Yep. So we basically give away free managed service when you sign up for a $349 package. Okay. So we leap from $99 at the highest SaaS, pure SaaS, tier to $349, which layers on service on top of that.
And Byron, what's the team size today? How many people?
11.
Okay. And what's the breakdown between the software engineers writing the SaaS product versus the folks doing onboarding and professional services, things like
90% service, and I have a very important developer and development team that is very small but does all of our code development.
Is it just one person? It's okay if it is.
Pretty much, yeah. But we yes and no. We've had other people work with us over the years. We've been around for 8 years, so we've had a department of 2 or 3 people full time, down to 1, down to 2. So we flip-flop around depending upon what our next year's plan is with regards to rollout and development.
Mm-hmm. If your SaaS product scales, downtime will not be an option. And so stability in the developer role is going to be critical. I struggle with that. A lot of people that are not developers struggle with that. What you just articulated, one person there maybe might be like someone building a bridge where there's a single point of failure if winds hit 150 miles per hour. You never want a single point of failure. Mm-hmm. So does that make you nervous? And if so, how do you deal with that?
It does make me nervous, and but we've got some pretty good, backup and redundancy and plan B, if and when needed. Mm-hmm. We can bring in other people that we know and trust to help out if something unfortunate happened.
Yep.
So we try to cover ourselves, but the key for us is trying to think way ahead, right? So if we need to beef up our staff, we absolutely will. We've been profitable since the get-go. So if we want to spend more money on something, we can. And we've done that at scale. We've done that in Romania with, 4 or 5 developers working for us, with our core developer scaling it out. We've done it with other full-time employees. But the key is you have to really understand the wants and needs of your customers and what they really want and how to stay ahead of your competition and the platform. And so we make decisions on, okay, what do we want to invest in, trying to stay 3 to 6 months ahead of the game.
Yep.
So For example, we've made a decision that we want to expand into representing designers and illustrators and animators because our clients have been asking for that for a long time. We need content, but not just words. We need to expand beyond words.
Yep.
And some of our investments have absolutely failed. My famous bomb is launching a translation service. We went at it like most companies probably would. We hired staff to help build the model out. We hired additional development support to build a version of WriterAccess that could manage a slightly different workflow platform. And the whole thing took about 8 months. We spent about $250,000 on it. And then we're like, ta-da, let's go. Holy moly, have you ever seen the prices of PPC prices of, hire a translator? They're like, $5 to $10 a click,
Yeah.
So it's we learned after 6 to 8 months of investment that it's going to be a slow growth track, not a, certainly a hit the market fast and have a new expansion. And frankly,
did you say transcription or translation?
Translation.
Oh, translate. Yeah, even tougher than transcription.
We hired 25 translators. We didn't hire, but we screened and recruited and brought in our 2,500 translators around the globe.
Well, thanks for sharing that. It's always fun to, laugh at other people losing all their money so it doesn't happen to you. Byron, let me go back to the conference real quick. Did you decrease prices to increase attendees when you took over?
No.
Okay, so what was like the price point of this past year?
$1,600 per ticket.
Okay.
Average ticket cost about just over $1,000.
Okay, sorry. Average, it cost you $1,000 to service the $1,600 ticket?
Average ticket price about $1,000.
I see. Okay, so times the 600 folks, that was about $600,000 there in revenue.
Excellent math were there. Excellent.
Well, yeah, I'm quick today. Okay, I'm sharp. I ask. I'm not joking. Some people give away hundreds of tickets for free sometimes to fill seats, so it could have been way lower than that. I don't know.
We do not. No.
Okay.
No free tickets.
So 600 there, but losing money, breaking even. So it sounds like the majority of the revenue really is coming from the marketplace, especially as you scale up the SaaS side of the business. Is that accurate?
Very accurate.
Do you share?
Or 600,000, just because I know you're a mathematician. That 600,000 was our 2018 revenue from the conference, not our 2017 revenue. As you were doing your reverse engineering of 7.2 million, really minus only a couple 100,000 from the conference revenue.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. On the marketplace side of things, so what volume of jobs did you put through the platform over the past 12 months? Or how do you measure that?
We've put through over 1 million in 8 years, and you could correlate that with our revenue growth. So we put together hundreds and thousands of orders went through the platform last year. Hundreds of thousands.
So is it fair to say of the 25,000 customers, right? Or sorry, of the 15,000 freelancers, all of those 15,000 freelancers were paid, call it at least more than $100 for at least one job through the platform. In other words, they're all active.
They're
not all active. Okay.
They're not all active. I mean, we don't have a supply problem. We have a demand problem. We need many, many more customers.
That's interesting. Okay. So interesting. Very good. Scaling the SaaS side of stuff. Let me just make sure I've got everything here in my notes. I think I do. So that's very good. Byron, last question I wanted to ask you about. Your friend, I'm sure, Joe Paluzzi, exits 2016 for 17.6. He had the same kind of product mix that you did as an acquisition in the next, on the road for the next couple months for you guys.
What was the question? Is there an acquisition?
Are you selling the company much like Joe did in the next couple months?
No. Why would we do that? We're having a blast.
I don't know you well enough to know if you're being sarcastic right now.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not being sarcastic. We are, I've sold businesses before. I've started businesses. I'm a startup guy. I mean, I love starting businesses, and it's frankly hard to find businesses that run as well as WriterAccess does and give me an opportunity to do what I love doing, which is showing up to work every day and making the product better and the service better. So, I've had success. I'm fortunate. I'm an entrepreneur that isn't looking for the exit, to retire. So Instead, I would consider.
Are you calling, by the way, Joe's going to hear this. Are you calling him old? Is that what you're saying? He was ready to retire?
How's his novel doing? He's kind of stepped out of the, he's got an interesting, position in the marketplace. He did very well. I'm still trying to figure out if he sold Content Marketing Institute or whether he hung on to that and just sold the conference, because he sold the business to a conference company.
Yeah.
And my guess is they were not probably interested in CMI.
Yeah.
So I think CMI still continues onward, right? So, we've certainly set up our conference to sell it if we wanted to, but, I think it's an important part of
your ecosystem. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And sorry, I meant to round. I don't know enough to know if it's a good strategy or not. I do know that there's a lot of software I'm usually SaaS, pure SaaS, not marketplace like you, but I know a lot of SaaS companies that are launching their own conferences. I also know the opposite happening. Clayton Mask is the best example. He shut down his user conference, which was huge, for a variety of reasons. I have a suspicion it's because a private equity firm didn't like the negative EBITDA on that line of business, and he's trying to get cash flow positive.
Yep.
For you though, I meant to ask this on the marketplace side of things. If I pay $100 through the $1,000 through the marketplace, and you help me get a writer, obviously you make your cut kind of in between there. What generally do you take, and do you charge me extra or the writer extra?
Oh, we're very transparent in that, by the way, and most of these marketplaces are not, which really bothers me. We're 70-30 split. 70% goes to the freelancer, 30% to WriterAccess, and that will continue on. We have no inclination to change those rates. They're very fair. And interestingly enough, Nathan, you might find this interesting. Back in 1992, when I started my first company, it was called Freelance Access. It was a graphic arts placement agency, literally a temp company, if you will, but focused on graphic designers and illustrators and copywriters. We were the first company, I think, in the country to publicly announce our rates back in those days. Mm-hmm. We also invented something. I came up with an idea called the Portfolio Access System, where we scanned in printed samples of graphic designers' work and illustrators' work and printed out 11 by 17 dye sublimation printers. And you probably wouldn't remember this, but dye sub printers, when they first hit the marketplace, were $40,000 printers.
Yeah, Byron, I was born in 89. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's a good thing. Good for you. It's really, really cool stuff. So I bought a dye sub printer on my credit card, which later caused a divorce, by the way.
Oh, that's funny.
I was newly married, and my wife's like, "What? We're $40,000 in debt? Like, what is that? We need this. Trust me on this one." I sold the business 5 years later for a lot of money.
Yeah,
it was really exciting.
That's great. So just to be clear, if I put 1,000 through Writer's Access today, you'll keep 700. The writer will get 300.
I wish, but
sorry. You keep 300. The writer will get 700.
Yeah. We would not have happy talent. So we're holding our ground, and they deserve every 70% of that. But I think they value what we do, Nathan.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
That's the key in the marketplace. That is the key right there.
Yeah. So, and again, I can kind of back into a GMV, right? If you got 6 million in revenue just through that, and that's 30% of what was total. I mean, you guys are putting 18, 20 million bucks worth of projects through your platform over the past 12 months, something like that.
I love your math. You are just so inclined to math.
I just like getting the top line numbers, Generally accurate though.
I like the concept of staying steady with disclosing our being transparent with our marketplace rates, being transparent with how many customers we have and have brought on board. Great mathematicians like you that are interested in doing reverse engineering. I've disclosed pretty much, what you need to do reverse engineering.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like you're like, this is like bad sex, right? There's too much foreplay. You're giving me the math to do, and then when I do the math, you're saying I can't confirm or deny that.
It's fantastic.
I hear you, Byron. All right, let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
Probably In Search of Excellence.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Brian Halligan's my friend, so I have to footnote that, but I think what he's done and what he will continue to do is just remarkable.
Yep. Number three, what is your favorite online tool for building your business?
WriterAccess.
Yeah, besides your own.
Oh, come on, man. Boy, there's just so many. I think I'm going to go with my buddy Mike Roberts, SpyFu.
Say it again.
SpyFu, SPYFU.
SpyFu. Okay.
Mike Roberts, my pal from SpyFu. I think what's SpyFu's ability to quickly instantly show competitive intelligence on what your competitors are doing is absolutely jaw-dropping.
From what angle? Like an SEM, SEO, content marketing?
Yes, and just from a business perspective, you can see what ads they're running, their marketing plan, their marketing vision, how much money they're spending. You can reverse engineer their success, and I think that is an absolutely a deal-changing thing.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
4 to 6.
Okay, so about 5 there on average. And what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
Married, son from a previous marriage.
Okay, good. And how old are you?
56.
You didn't happen, now I know you got divorced because of the printer. You didn't happen to marry the woman that sold you the printer, right? Did you?
No, but I can tell you stories.
We'll save that for episode 2. Last question, Byron. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Say that again?
What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
What do I wish my 20-year-old
self knew? Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Oh my gosh. I wish the web was around. I wish I could buy domain names when I was in my 20s.
Guys, there you have it. He wishes the web was around back in the day. WriterAccess, a big success, launched as a marketplace many, many years ago, called back in 2010. They've now scaled that to many millions of dollars of volume in terms of projects, going from people who need writers to the actual writers. Byron keeps 30% of those project sales and pays the writers, call it 70%. They've got about 15,000 folks, freelancers on the platform, 25,000 customers. Once that did well, he said, you know what, let me build up the ecosystem. Let's launch a conference. First year, 150 folks attended, then 280 in year 2, year 3, 400, year 4, about $600,000 ticket price, so about $600,000 in conference revenue. Still though, break even to cash flow negative as he uses that again as a loss leader to grow the marketplace to about $7.2 million in revenue last year alone, scaling quickly with his team of 11 up there in Boston and other remote locations. Byron, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks for having me.